Okay, hello. I'm so grateful that you're here. If you are on Rumble or Zoom, if you're on Zoom, you can see my screen. If you are on Rumble, this is going to be played after. Thank you for being here. I'm going to lower this because there's too much ceiling going on in this video. Hope everybody's doing great. Thank you for episode number 9. Um, we're going live again, talking about everything about money. So today's topic from the invitation, thank you. Yes, thank you. If you are on YouTube and you want to see the screen share, go to Zoom. We're going to be waiting for a couple more minutes. It's just 2 minutes before uh, episode starts. Give me a sec. Still on the phone. All right. We're just waiting a couple more minutes. The link. So if you are on YouTube and you want to see the screen share, is the link for Zoom is on your invitation, is bit.ly / Anna Zoom link. That's where we're going to be sharing the screen. Eventually I'll start sharing on YouTube and Rumble. Just another minute. Thank you. Thank you for being here. This is okay. All right, almost there. Let's see here. Story live. Okay, I'm going to clean my screen. And here we go. Let's see. I think I'm correct in this. Yeah, this is the business. I never know this. I don't like Instagram. It's not my thing. YouTube is great and Zoom is great. Here we go, live. Okay, hopefully this is gonna work. And I'm gonna put this phone. Here it is. All right, there you go. All right, so we're gonna be talking today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time. Every Tuesday night we talk something money. So on the previous episodes, we've been talking about investing and the stock, and we talked about all kinds of things money, especially because of the economy is looking crazy right now. So if you have any money invested, if you are into real estate investing, or if you're thinking, what am I going to do with my money? This is the time to kind of be watching the news and paying attention to the markets, because everything's up for grabs. So what we're going to talk today is what to do with your money. So there's a lot of people that are investing, people that have money in real estate, people that have money hiding under the mattress. The conversation that we've had this week was in a closed group on social media, and all of these single ladies that either have divorced or have lost their husbands or whatever, all these women have all this money, and kid you not, they're asking me like, I have such and such amount under my mattress, or it's on my safe in the house. What do I do with it? And so these conversations were kind of scary, because a lot of people have a lot of stuff hiding, or they just, and then other people were commenting and saying, no, wait, I have no money. How is it that you have money hiding and I am just struggling to make ends meet? So it was a fun interaction in between all of these points of view. Economy is going crazy. We don't know what to expect. If you are paying attention to the news and you're watching what's going on everywhere around the world, what has happened in the past few months here in the United States, you are wondering, what am I supposed to do? So this is the conversation for today. So I do have 2 or 3 points that I wanted to cover that were sent to me by private message, but just to this is not financial advice. You should consult with your CPA, your tax advisor, but these are points of views. My name is Anna Farrell, and I am a financial advisor. I am licensed in 7 states, and my job is to help people figure out what to do with their finances. The best part of my job is to be able to sit down with an individual and find out your goals and what you want to achieve in your world, in your life, and then map out that path. And the vast majority of those conversations include money. Sometimes it doesn't. The only time I was not able to help a client was when she told me, and I said to her, "What do you want?" That's my first question to my client. And she says, "I want to find a husband." And I said, "Well, after you find your husband, let me know so then I can help you with your financial part. Can't help you find a husband. Maybe I can, but that's not what I do for a living." So, what I want to help you is that if you are making your money, you're paying your bills, or you're not paying your bills, or you have credit card debt, or you have other kind of debt, or you want to save for the future, you want to go to school, or you want to retire, what is it that you're wanting to accomplish? So that's why my first question to my clients is, what do you want? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What is it that you're looking to achieve? Because after that, then we can map out. And you'll see a lot of information online with financial advisors, and sometimes it's very hard for you as an individual that deals with finances to help you if I don't know that information, if I cannot get that from my client. What is it that you're looking to achieve? Because if you don't know what you want to do, we can just give you a blanket statement: do this, do that, and do the other. So get out of that, build your emergency fund, and invest. But if that doesn't fly with what you're wanting to achieve in life, then what you're doing is not going to be fruitful. You're not going to get there because that's not your goal. You do not want to get out of that. You do not want to have an emergency. It doesn't mean anything to you to have an emergency fund. It doesn't bother you that you don't have one. So why am I telling you to do that? So my first question to you is that, what do you want? And once you know what you want to achieve financially, then we can make it happen. And how do you know what you want to achieve financially? And you have to backtrack a little bit and ask yourself, what do you want out of life? What do you want out of life? So again, my first question is, what do you want? When I know what I want for myself, for my future, what am I working towards? What are my goals? Why do you get up every morning? What drives you to do what you do? Because then we can figure out how the money part of that dream will function, and will help you get there. Until you know what you want, it's kind of hard to create a plan of action for you financially. But basically, and I think that every financial advisor will help you go through at least these three basic steps. So the first one, and especially in this environment, we are not in a position financially, countrywide and frankly worldwide, to have debt. So as an individual and as a family, you don't want to carry debt unless your debt is making you money, and there's a difference in between that. So if your debt is putting you backwards instead of going forwards, that's a debt that you need to analyze. There's strategic debt that you can get into in order for you to achieve more. If you own your own business, if you are borrowing in order for you to grow your business, or that money that you're borrowing is going to leverage your business, then that's smart debt. But generally, if it's a liability, if your debt is a liability, is not bringing you anything in return, then you need to eliminate that debt. So that's the first thing that we want to think about, is how do we go about. Hi guys, how are you doing? Thank you. So what is it that you need to do to eliminate that, because that's pushing you backwards instead of forwards. So even if you have borrowed to leverage your business and now that debt is not paid, or it's bringing you down because it's not getting paid and it's actually costing you instead of being a leveraging tool, then it's something to be put into your goals in order to be eliminated. The next thing is to build an emergency fund. The vast majority of times where a person or a family goes into debt is because they don't have that established as your emergency fund. And so when something big happens and you need to address that, normally you would have to borrow in order for you to fix that issue, whatever it is. It could be an accident, it could be a sickness, it could be something about your children or your parents or yourself or your spouse, whatever. If you don't have a reserve and an emergency happens and you cannot cover that reserve, vast majority of the times that's when a family or an individual will go into debt. And the third thing that you want to do, so you want to eliminate debt that's bringing you down, that's bringing you backwards, not moving you forward. So if it's not leveraging your goals, then that needs to be eliminated. The next one is to create an emergency fund. And then just one more thing before I move into the third point is emergency fund means whatever it's important to you. So if emergency fund to you means having one paid up 1 month ahead, or 6 months ahead, or a year ahead, or have an emergency fund in order for me to be able to take care of all of my whatever, you design emergency fund, because at the end of the day, it's your peace of mind that's going to allow you to then not be so worried about what if, and then but free up your mind to create. So when you're so worried about what if, it's hard for you to go out and create. So that's why the emergency fund, beyond being the tangible help that you'll need in that situation, but also free up your mind in order for you to move forward in your career, in your endeavors, and in your dreams, and what you're trying to create. And so, number one, eliminate that. The second thing is to create an emergency fund. And the third one is to invest. So, make your money make money for you. Utilize the tools and everything that's out there right now to, while you sleep, while your money is sitting, while you have something that you're not really employing those funds or those assets yet, that just the fact of it being sitting is making money for you. And then being able to double your money while it's employed somewhere else. So investing means different things to different people. You need to know yourself and your goals in order for you to make those decisions regarding investment. One of the things that I ask my clients is how much can you lose out of the money that you want to employ on it making more money for you? How much of it are you willing to lose? What is your idea of a good investment or of a bad investment? Do you prefer guarantees, or are you brave enough to go ahead and employ all of that asset towards doubling and tripling, knowing that you could lose some? So knowing yourself and knowing what you can stomach and that environment is going to help you choose the best way for you to then double and triple that asset. So, 1, get out of debt. 2, create an emergency fund. 3, invest. Now there's a group of investors and a group of financial advisors that will teach you that those steps need to be done one by one. I'm going to give you an example. Envelope 1, envelope 2. If you've heard of that before, the concept of you do this first, you take this step, and then 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 you have then develop that financial health. I understand why somebody would teach that way, because it helps a person see the growth and the development, and it gives you that energy to go ahead and complete the next step. And I applaud people that have had success in going through those steps. So step number 1 is this, and then you do this, and then you do that. And I'm on board with that. But my way of thinking is there are situations where an individual is, for example, so much in debt. You have mortgages, you have bankruptcies, you have student loans, you have all kinds of stuff that has just piled up because it just happened. You know, sometimes you've made those decisions and now you're in a hole. Sometimes it fell on you. Regardless, sometimes you're so far behind that initial step to get out of that is so overwhelming that you'll never be able to invest. You'll never be able to build an emergency fund because you're just so focused on that number 1, was to get out of that. So my train of thought is always to do the 3 simultaneously. And I have done that in my life, and I've taught other people to do that in their financial world, because what happens is when you work the 3 at the same time, you have exponential growth. All of a sudden you're investing, and because you are investing, you have money that is growing for you that can be applied to debt, that can be put into emergency fund. You have money that is now not paid out to your debts in order for you to be able to invest. And so when you work those 3 in sync instead of 1, 2, 3, I have seen a much faster result towards the goal that you want to achieve. It's not for everybody, but it's for the vast majority of people, especially the person that says to me, Anna, I'm drowning in that. I have too much that I have to start with. So I'm way far behind for me to be able to continue to take the first step. And so that's why I am a firm believer on working the 3 steps simultaneously, because you can see a much faster achieving of those benchmarks on your financial goals than if you were to do 1 and 2 and 3. So talking today about what do you do with your money. So when I ask a person, you work, you exchange your time for money, right? Either you work for somebody or you work for yourself, but you're exchanging your skills, your time, your services, your parts, whatever it is, when you bring money in. So that's an exchange, time, money, right? So you work, and then at the end of your work, you get paid, whether it's every time you work or you receive a paycheck or whatever. Once that money is in your hands, what do you do with it? And when we start having conversations with people, there's a lot of unknowns. A person just what we're taught is to put your money in the bank at the statement time, pay your bills, whatever's left over, invest 5%, save 5%, and if you believe in tithing, you tithe 10%, and then hope that helps. So then what else? What do you do with the remainder? What if there is a remainder? What if it's not? What if it's missing? What if you don't have a remainder? What if you cannot even tithe and do your savings and whatever? What do you do? And so for the vast majority of people, there is some left over, right? Even if it's $10 for your pizza, there's some left over. There's some people that are spending more than they make, and that's where the debt would come from, right? So if you're not analyzing those numbers and if you're not tracking those totals, that's where you're going to find it. You're going to find holes in your spending, or you're going to find that what you're making is not enough to take care of what you're spending. So that if you're not tracking those numbers, if you don't have a budget, you're not going to know where the holes in your expenses compared to your income is. So that needs to be done. So if there's a disparity there, you need to sit down and get that done. It's boring as heck. Nobody likes to sit down and do a budget. I don't like to do a budget. And there's tools to help you do that. Maybe you don't want to do those numbers, and maybe you're not even good at numbers. Then get an app that will do that for you. Get a spreadsheet that will do that for you. Open your bank statement once a month, or I always suggest every 15 days, and upload that CVS report, and then just dump it into an Excel file, and then do plus and minus. That's super simple to do. If you want to pay for an app, pay for an app to do that on your behalf. If you know how to use AI, that nowadays those things are done automatically for you. So you really don't need to spend a lot of time doing it, but you need to track your numbers. So do you have a system for tracking? What happens to your money once it hits your bank account? What happens to it? Do you have a system so you know what date it came in, how much it is, what is the percentage of that's going to go towards your regular expenses, how much is going to be left over? Out of the leftover, what is it that you're doing with it? Are you saving? Are you investing? Are you putting it towards your emergency fund? What are you doing with that leftover? So if you don't have a system, shoot me a message and I can give you some tips. I myself personally, I used to use QuickBooks. I used to use all kinds of apps. Nowadays, I use a simple Excel file. Mine is a little bit more complicated because I separate it between business and personal. But once you have that original Excel file and you learn how to use just the sum formula of an Excel file, you can figure out where the money's going in and coming out. And you don't have to be a slave of that budget Excel file forever, but it's just for you to realize what's happening with your money. Once you are aware of how much comes in and how much goes out, then you can work with those numbers. You can work with those metrics. If you are unaware, that is where the trouble lays, because you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So I would encourage you that if you don't have a system, if you're if your system is to open your bank app to see how much money you have in that bank on that moment before a purchase, that is not a system, okay? If your budgeting is, I know I get paid on the 15th and on the 30th, and I have my bills in between the 5th and the 10th, and I'm gonna open, if I wanna do something, I open my bank app and I see how much money I have there. That is not a system. You need to create a system to know, number one, what comes in, number two, what goes out, and number three, what happens on the difference in between those amounts. So if you don't have that, at the end when I finish my YouTube live, I'm gonna put in the link for an Excel file that I created for my clients. There's 3 pages. The first page of the Excel file is uh, if you work for somebody else. So if you're not self-employed, and that's super simple. You put your income there, and then you put all your expenses for the year. There's 12 lines: January, February, March. So at the end of the year, you have your totals. Especially right now that we're starting to think about preparing for our tax guy, right? So we want to have our totals. So that's the page number one. Page number two is if you work for yourself. If you have a business, now you're going to be putting all your business expenses in there. And so your business income and business expenses. So then again, there's columns in there for expense number one, which because then you need to be able to give those expenses to your tax advisor so he can use those towards your deductions. And the page number three is if you have a business, what is allowed to be deducted. So a list of allowable deductions that you can stick it on your Schedule C, or if you're an S Corp, for your forms for deductions for your business. If you're employed, if you are an employed, if you are an employee of somebody, then the vast majority of these deductions they don't pertain to you because you have already your W-2s where your deductions are taken out of that, and so it's an easier way to keep track of your finances. Between parentheses, if you work for somebody else and you don't have a side gig, again, send me a message, because a side gig would allow you to have also a small income, but it will give you an array of expenses that you can deduct from your taxable income. So if you are a W-2 employee and you don't have a side gig, you don't have to really work the side gig. But if you have something where you show some income, the beauty of a side gig is all of the expenses that you can claim to reduce your taxable income. And that's where the beauty of owning your business falls, okay? So that's something that you want to consider before December 31st for 2023, because the tax year is not over yet, which means whatever you accumulate in expenses this year can count as deductions on your taxable income for 2023. We have 2 months still to go, 2 months and 1 week still to go on fiscal year 2023. So that's something that you want to talk to your tax advisor or reach out, and I'll give you some ideas. Okay, so if you don't have a system, let's implement a system. There's Excel files out there, there's QuickBooks, there's Intuit, there's Maze, there's all kinds of apps out there. I am not a fan of these apps because although they kind of automate everything, you still have to get in there and plug in which type of deductions are these or which type of expenses are these. So you still have to so it's automated but not. So you're paying for something that is not going to do the job for you. That's why I ended up canceling all of these apps and I went with the Excel file, because since I'm going to be doing it anyways, I'm going to do it myself, and I know what I'm doing, and I don't have to work with the system. I don't have to learn a system. Excel file, I've learned it since high school. I know how to use a Google Excel file. Okay, so have a system, so then you can start tracking your income and your expenses, and then you can see where your money is going, and then you can actually see, do I have leftover? Is money missing from my income? Do I need to either lower my expenses or raise my income? Which is always what I say. If you have money missing, go work some more. Because we don't, it's personal. It's a personal position of mine. I'm not gonna lower my standards. I'm just gonna go out and earn some more money. That's but then you need to make sure that you budget that money properly and you're doing the job that your financial advisor is telling you to do. If you have more expenses than your income, you need to do one or the other, either lower expenses or make more money. If you're talking to me, I'm going to say to you, what else can you do in order for you to bring in more income? That's what I usually say to my clients, because there's always something that you can do extra. And again, like I said to you, if you're a W-2 employee and you have a side gig, now you have all of these expenses that you can write off and lower your taxable income. And if you were to see how much money you paid in taxes this past year, that's when you start agreeing with that mentality. Instead of lowering your expenses to grow your income, because then you can deduct more. The more money you make, the more you can deduct for the activity that is creating that income, which means you can pretty much lower all of your taxable income. That's why there's a lot of people that own businesses and they work that strategy. If you look at multi-million-dollar corporations, they deduct their income. That's why you hear people saying that corporations don't pay taxes, because they use the tax system. They understand that when you own a business and you have these expenses and they are cost of doing business, they are taken away from, they're deducted from your income, which means you pay less taxes. Only the middle class pays taxes. The rich don't pay taxes. They understand these loopholes of the tax code and they use it for their benefit. So why aren't you doing that? Again, if you're a W-2 employee and you don't have a side gig, that this is the time for you to take advantage of the full fiscal 2023 in order for you to deduct some of your taxable income. Okay. So now if you have a system and you know your numbers and you already know I either have to raise my income or have to deduct some of my expenses or lower my expenses in order for me to afford my lifestyle, now we have to create opportunities for your money to grow for you. Okay, so now you have a system, you know where your money's going, you understand the logistics of all of that. Now let's create. The next thing that I do with my clients is I sit down with my clients and I look at them and I say, okay, open your statements, open all your bills. And some people just have been piling up closed up envelopes. They don't even want to look because their statements are so scary. Whatever they owe people is just so scary to look. And it's psychologically, it's just scary to open those statements. And I've done that with clients where I'll say, wait, let's look at your money. And they'll say, okay, I don't know how much I owe. And I say, how come? And they say, well, I have all these letters that are on a shoebox on my desk and I just don't want to open them. And my question to them is, are you expecting the bills to go away because you don't open those statements? And that's not the case, right? The bill is not going to disappear. You're not going to be forgiven of that debt. And the best thing for you to do is then tackle that, go head on. So go ahead and sometimes, and most of the times, the clients will sit down with me. We'll sit over here in my office and we'll just open all these statements. Go look and see. Because when you look at the finance charges that you're paying, the late fees, all those stuff that's coming out of your hard-earned money to go towards these institutions, the banks, it creates a sense of urgency for you to take care of that. And I compare that to a person that's trying to lose weight, because that's the vast majority of us, right? The moment when you stand in front of the mirror in your underwear and you say, okay, I don't like what I see, that creates a sense of urgency for you to go and do something about it. Same thing with your finances. When you start opening all these statements and you start adding up on your little Excel file how much you pay monthly in finance charges and fees to all of these creditors, all of a sudden it creates a sense of urgency for you to do something about it. Remember what we talked about in the very beginning. The money that goes, so you trade your time for money, right? So we go to work, we do the thing that we do very well, and the time frame, 8 to 5, 10 to 10, whatever it is that you are spending outside of your home in labor is what translates into money. And so if the money that you have is now going to be given to banks, you're now losing time. Time that could be spent with doing the things that you love, being with the people that you love. And so now you're working to just bring the money in and then pay off your creditors. And so if that doesn't help you see how important it is for you to have an organization on your finances and get a handle of that and find out how to best manage that, then you need to reassess why you work. Most, and I say this because I love working. I love working. I love producing. I love fixing a problem. I love finding solutions. But at the end of the day, I love being with my husband and my children and my parents more than I love the kick that I get from being successful at what I do. And so which one do I love more? Do I love more working, or do I love more doing the thing that I work for, right? And so sometimes the conversations that we have in my office have nothing to do with money, but have to do with who you are as a person and what are your goals. Going right back to the very first couple minutes of the class where we talked about what do you want. So if you cannot design, if you cannot explain to me what you want, and what you're explaining to me doesn't make you cry, doesn't make you emotional about your dreams and what you want to achieve, then I question that. I question if that's exactly what is it that you're living for. What are you living for is going to help you drive, have that force, have that courage every single day, even when it's hard to go do the thing that you do well. So if you don't know what you want, and so I'm just going to define that. I'm going to give you an example. For 20 years of my life, I worked in sales with a cosmetic company. And I would get a person that came into my office and said, okay, I want to grow in the company. And I would say to the person, what do you want? And they would reply by saying, I want to earn a car, or I want the position of leadership such. And so I would have to stop and I would have to say, okay, earning the car is not what you want. That is a result of the activity that is going to require for you to achieve that level, but that's not a desired end. That is just it's going to happen based on the activity. So earning a car, achieving manager position, earning $10,000 a month, owning 20 rental properties, whatever it is, the thing that you are achieving, the position or the leadership or the number that you're achieving is not what you want. Is not. What you want is, once you achieve that, what you get to do, how you get to feel, what you get to experience. Okay? So here's an example. That individual does not want to earn a car. That individual does not want to get to manager. That individual wants the recognition for a job well done. They want security in a job position. They want to be able to show off to their neighbors that they drive a free car because of their level of excellence and achievement. So it's feeling words, not monetary words, that I'm looking for. Because even if you say to me, okay, I want to earn $20,000 a month, okay, the $20,000 in your bank account, when you open your app and you see that number there, it's there. So now what? What are you going to do with that money? How does that make you feel when you have that money? Or what you're going to be able to accomplish once you have that money in your bank account is what I want to know. Because when the job is hard, or when the process to getting to that number is hard, what's going to move you to overcome objections, to move you to overcome your own self, the things that you're going to put in place for you not to go forward, your procrastination, your doubts, your fears, the things that are going to hold you back have to be overcome, and only you can overcome. Because when nobody's watching and when all the lights are off, you're with you. And if you are not decisively seeking that goal, you can create all kinds of excuses. You can play mind games and you can tell yourself that you got sick, or the market is hard, or you just can't find clients, or whatever you're gonna tell yourself, that lie that only you believe but you're gonna keep telling everybody. And so you need to have feeling words to describe what you want, and that those feeling words have to make you cry. You need to cry, ugly cry, when you're describing what you want to achieve. If you don't have passion and excitement when you're describing what you want out of life, then I don't believe it. And anything, any bad day, any bellyache, any broken nail is going to stop you from achieving that, because it's hard to achieve your goals, right? So if you don't have that, then I don't believe you. I want you to go home and think hard about what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, the conversation about money is going to be a mediocre conversation about money. Anybody can have this conversation with you. I'm not the person to talk to if you don't have an amazing, scary goal to achieve. Because any H&R Block can help you out, right? Any CPA, any Excel file can help you achieve what you want if you don't have a goal. Because it's just inputting the information and checking the boxes and then going to work tomorrow. Go to work, pay your bills, do it again next month, do it again. So if you have no goals, then why am I talking to you? I have nothing to add to your life if you don't have a scary dream that we can go make a plan for it and reach. And I get to watch that process with you. So, where's your money? Where is it coming in? Where is it going out? Is it bleeding? Is it bleeding outside of your hands? When you open your statements and you don't see that the money that's going out is not going towards principals, it's going towards the bank. So you're paying the bank's salaries, you're paying for the bank to have a building, you're paying for the bank to have vacation, you're paying for the CEO's bonuses at the end. We have to stop that practice, right? We have to stop giving your time and money to institutions. So how do we do that? You have to strategize. You have to have a financial map where you're going to figure out how, and this is what I do, that's when a financial advisor enters the life of a person, is when you say, okay, I am paying finance charges, I am giving money to the bank, and I don't want to do that anymore. What do I do? So I can explain to you that you're watching this, I can explain to you, but until we sit down together and we put your numbers into different softwares, different programs, and it helps us actually see what are the strategies, and we can pull out a calculator, we can pull out a paper. I can give you an idea, but your situation is different than my situation, which is different than the people that are watching this video situation. And so there's a lot of people that buy these financial classes online, right? You buy your course and then you have all this information, but you really don't have any results. Why? Because you never sat down and worked your numbers. You have to work your numbers, because my numbers are not going to work for you. If you were to sit down with me and I'm going to say to you, okay, so I bring in $10,000 a month and I spend $7,000. So there's $3,000 left over, and I have 4 properties and I owe whatever. So then I can put aside some. My numbers are not your numbers. So whatever I have to do with my money cannot help you, because it's not your money. You have to do your numbers. And that is where normally a financial advisor loses the conversation, because whoever is talking to the financial advisor is not willing to go through that process. Maybe it's because they don't want to open up their books. Maybe it's because and this is very big. I'm going to say something. So if you're watching this video and you are in a situation, I want you to reach out. I want you to pray about this, because what I'm going to say to you next is what mostly happens. Is a couple sitting next to me, they either came to buy a house, or they're looking at their finances, they're looking for help with lowering their taxable income, and we start talking about opening numbers, and one spouse is hiding things from the other spouse. So one spouse is not completely truthful with the other spouse, and it's going under the radar because it's not big numbers. It's not, it doesn't really show. You can find a way to go paperless. Nobody sees the statements coming in and out. And so now the financial advisor says, okay, now we're going to open the numbers. We're going to put your financial information on the software, and we're going to figure out how to pay off your debt, create an emergency fund, and invest. The spouse that's hiding things knows that that is not a true picture, because there's money that is bleeding from their finances that is not into that system. And so what happens? Then generally that spouse that's hiding financial information finds a way to drop the whole program. Oh no, we're too tired, I'm sick, it's not working, I don't like that person, and then they run away. And so that never gets fixed. So if you are that person, I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to, at this moment in your life, if you're watching this video and you are that spouse, or you are the spouse that knows that your spouse is doing something but you can't really point, this is the time. Finances are something that separates couples. Financial inequality in a couple is one of the biggest reasons why couples separate. And I want you to listen to what I'm going to say right now. If that's happening in your union, that is one thing that the devil loves to work with, and he loves to destroy families. So if that's you, you need to come clean. You need to hold your partner's hand. You need to explain the situation. You need to apologize, and you need to seek help. Because if you are allowing that specific wedge to come in between you and your partner in a threesome union, it's you, Jesus, and your spouse, and money is separating you, then you are allowing that to happen. It's on you not to be bold enough and not to ask Jesus for forgiveness in that, and to seek counsel. Okay, it's important for you. It's important for you to work with that. You cannot leave that unanswered and uncared for, because that's exactly what it's going to grow into. It's going to grow into a union that's separated because you did not take that step. Okay, so we need a financial map in between you and your financial advisor. Figure out a time, and you're going to open up all your envelopes, and you're going to put in all those numbers there. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a system. How do we create a system to what money goes in, what money comes out, and what else do we do with that money? Yeah, we could do that. So what are we going to do? I want you to then message me wherever you're watching. If you're on Rumble, YouTube, if you're on Zoom, if you're on Instagram, send me a message saying, okay, I want a financial map. I don't need your social security number. I don't need your driver's license. I don't even need your real name. I create a thing that says it's Superman and Wonder Woman are married, and they're going to do their numbers. And that's what we do. We do that so people can see numbers. If you are on Zoom, I have that on the screen, and it's showing you Superman and Wonder Woman's financial map, because we want to see, okay, so they own 2 homes, they have 2 credit cards, and they have 2 cars, and how much they owe and the percentage that they owe. And so now we get to see how long it's going to take for them to pay off those debts. The systems, I'm not a mathematician. I don't need to be doing all that math. The systems that are implemented for financial advisors that have licenses, we know how to work those things. It's super simple for us, and we can create that for you for free. So now you know that there is a solution. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a specific date where your debt's going to be paid. Your emergency fund is going to come to the number that you designed for your dreams, and you're going to be able to tackle the investment part. So then we're going to talk about what is interesting to you. Do you want to invest in real estate? Do you want to buy land? Do you want to flip homes? Or do you want to invest in the market? Or do you want to invest in something that's a little bit more guaranteed? Do you want to do crypto? We have that conversation once you have that extra money to work with. right? When that starts showing up every month in your bank account extra, then we can have that conversation and create those dreams and accelerate those goals for you. But until you sit down, find out what you want, write it down, make that dream make you cry, and then start opening up your envelope, start tracking those numbers, and then create a map for you specifically that is made for your situation. You are going to live exactly how you're living right now. There's not going to be any change, there's not going to be any improvement. Most likely, because of the way that the economy is right now, it's going to be actually worse than where we started, right? Because I don't know where, if you live in the United States, you're paying more for living, you're paying more for gas, you're paying more for food, you're paying more for electric. I belong to my HOA board. We just had our meeting today, and it's been announced that our dues are going to go up because the electric bill is just more. So all of us have to pay more, not only in our home, but we also have to pay more because of the association. It's just the breaks. That's how the economy is right now. And so if I'm not making more, I need to figure out how to make more to be able to afford these extra costs that are being attached to my bank account. Every month I have to pay more. And if you're not prepared for that, if you don't have an emergency fund, if you're not investing, if you don't know, if you don't track those numbers, it catches you. All of a sudden you look in your bank account and you don't have the money there. What happened to it, right? So that is why it's so important to have. Now, I have to say this to you. The vast majority of my clients are business owners, okay? I have contractors that are my clients. I have babysitters that are my clients. I have a lady that does dog sitting and catering. So she makes us both. I don't know about eating her food, but anyways. So I have these clients that own their businesses, and they're awesome at doing that. And so the contractor goes early in the morning and go out and do the thing. And the lady that does dog sitting does that very well. And the other lady that, whatever, everybody does their thing super well. And the financial part of it for the small business specifically is a costly endeavor. So you either have to take time away from your family or from your business to do your financial part, or you have to hire somebody to do that for you, right? But most of the time, the business owner wants to know what's going on. So even if they hire somebody, they still have to kind of be in the middle there trying to figure out, where's my money going? What am I doing? Have a meeting once a week with your financial advisor or your tax advisor or whatever, because you need to know where your money is. Even if you have a very a person is dealing with the money part of your business, even if you trust that person, you do, as a business owner, you want to be in there. You want to be seeing what's going on, right? So what you want to do is that you want to be involved. So do you have somebody who is a person that is helping you with that? Or are you taking time away from your business to learn that, which is awesome if you have that time. And if you are balancing fairly well your time management, where you're spending time with your loved ones and you're running your business and you're doing your finances, that's wonderful. But there are financial advisors that are skilled and trained and licensed to help you do that part of your job. And so that's what we do. The vast majority of financial advisors are fiduciary to the client, and they are fee based, where you only pay you only pay for the service if you make money. My type of financial advisory is, the client usually does not pay me. It's usually the plan that the client chooses to follow pays me. So the client gets the full consultant part as a part of the business. That's why I usually say, go to my website, annafarrell.com, and click on the calendar and schedule your first appointment for free for me. Generally, that 1 hour that I give it to you for free answers all of your questions. Okay, so you get all of the questions answered there, and you get everything there. You don't need to talk to me anymore. And that's what I love about what I do, because generally that's all the help that a small business needs. But if you need more, that's where I'm at. If you want to have a financial map drawn out for you, if you want to do The anafarrell.com is the website. ANAFARRELL. The name of my, wherever you are, you have my name on it. So if I don't know who, if you're asking me for my website, go to the top of that channel. I don't know where you are. I forget which device has the website. So if you're watching on YouTube, is the name of my channel. If you're watching on Rumble, is the name of my channel. If you are on Instagram, is the name of my channel. It's Anna Farrell. AnnaFarrell.com. And you click on that calendar, and then I'll be able to schedule a time that's best for you. I'll get a notification, and we'll spend an hour one-on-one on Zoom where you'll ask me any financial questions you want, and whatever I know, I'll be able to share that with you, and then we can go from there. But if you don't have a budget, if you don't have an emergency fund, if you're not investing and you don't have a plan of action, you will be exactly where you are October of 2024. If you don't take any action, this is exactly where you will be next year, next month. 1st of January is coming around the corner. We have 2 months and 1 week for the new year. And if you don't make any changes, you're going to be exactly like this next year. Are you thinking of Christmas, New Year's? Are you thinking of celebrating the holidays? Do you have a financial plan of action for that? Our family, I have 3 grown children, and they have their loved ones, and my siblings live far away. We're talking about getting together for Christmas. So we already know that that's going to happen. We just need to figure out exactly how much money we're going to be spending. But if we have a plan of action, then we can start budgeting for that. But we already have that in place because we know that once a year we get together, twice a year we get together. So those are the things. Are you going to wait until Christmas and swipe the credit card and then go into debt again? Is that your plan of action for Christmas? Because that's where people go in debt, is when they don't plan ahead. They don't know what the next step is. They don't look ahead. They're not tracking their numbers. They don't have a budget. They don't have an emergency fund. They are not investing. Where are you getting the money from to do the things that you want to do if you're not planning? That's where debt comes from. And so when you're not planning and you're doing the things anyway without planning, then you're putting yourself backwards instead of putting yourself forwards. So I challenge you, if you have a financial advisor, whoever sent you this video, sent you this invitation to be here, if they have encouraged you to have a financial plan done for you, do it. Go back to them, talk to them, schedule an appointment with them. If you don't have a financial advisor, somebody that you trust, that you want to talk to, go to my website, go to the calendar, click on there, and schedule your appointment, and we will do that together, okay? So my name is Anna, and I do this every Tuesday night. I decided to go ahead and live stream. I don't like Instagram. I don't like Facebook. I don't like WhatsApp, but that's where the clients are. So that's why I'm working with YouTube and Rumble, because those are the platforms that I use. I also use Telegram, which is an awesome way to talk to people, and I can put whatever I want in there because it's safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang up right now, and then I'm going to do the same exact class in Portuguese. That's my first language, and I have the good portion of my clients are Brazilian. So then at 9 o'clock, so another 8 minutes, we're going to do the same thing in Portuguese. So if you have somebody that speaks Portuguese from Brazil or Portugal and they want to listen to the same information, invite them to click right in the same place that you are right now, and they will be able to listen to this live. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Tuesday. And if you schedule an appointment, we'll see you as soon as we see you again. Thank you so much. Have a great night.